Today is Success Mentorship class number 250. And our topic for today is the gift of vision. And today we have a very special guest who will be sharing, Dr. Rubye Braye, renowned speaker, teacher, coach, executive coach, retired military. But before we get started, I want to just welcome everybody, remind everybody that we are now toward the end of the year. We have about 22 more days left. And the beautiful thing about closing out the year is if you close out strong, you can begin stronger. So I invite each and every one of you to visit herbertharris.info. And there we have some success tools that can take you out of this new year and into the new year. We have the perfect gift, which is the 12 Universal Laws of Success, the book. We also have the New You for the New Year home study course, your tool to take you from where you are to where you want to be. So be sure to go and visit our website, www.herbertharris.info. So before we get started, let us do a little meditation so that we can be prepared for our message today. Just take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Once more. I am at peace with myself. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Let us affirm, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. This topic, the gift of vision, is a powerful topic because it gives us an opportunity to see what our life could be if we truly want it. It gives us a blueprint from which we can create the life we live. The Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where you have no vision, you fail. And so today we're going to be sharing a message with Dr. Rubye Braye. She's a retired colonel from the military. She is a premier executive coach, teacher, trainer, lecturer. So let me give you Dr. Rubye Braye to share the gift of vision.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And I'd like to greet everybody across, I always want to say radio land, but I realize the internet puts us in a whole new dimension. So there are people across the country and there are people perhaps even overseas who are listening today. And I'm honored to have an opportunity to share with you. I share based on Dr. Harris' wonderful book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. So if you don't have a copy, I want to encourage you to order one today. Dr. Harris always shares the link and places where it is available, and it's available in many formats. So depending upon your preference for acquiring new information, you can get it in a format that best suits you. If you're somebody who loves driving along and listening, you can get it so that you can listen in your car as you go to work or you travel the highways over the holidays, or even as you sit on a plane flying to your destination over the holidays. You'll find this material just so beneficial and useful. I have a copy that Dr. Harris signed back in 2011, if you can imagine. I have 3 or 4 different editions. And this edition is one that I realized as I have sat listening to him teach over the years, I had marked up this version of this book. I had lots of notes. So, in preparing to share with you today, I will share both based on my notes and based on what Dr. Harris has written. For those of you who have a copy handy, go with me over to page 63, where he addresses the law of vision. It's chapter 3 in the book. My intention is to follow this and to give you examples of why this may be beneficial to you. Dr. Harris already shared the scripture that serves as the introduction to this chapter 3, that where there is no vision, the people perish. But they that keep the law, happy are they. This is Proverbs 29:18. Now, what happens when you don't have vision? There are many things that can utterly destroy your life. And there are many people who suffer in these ways. For example, if you don't have vision, you just kind of flounder. You find yourself going from one thing to the next, wondering what will you do the next day. You wake up with lack of clarity about what to do with your time. You have no sense of what to do with your resources. You have no model or example that can be used for others. And if you look around our community in many places, you can see what happens when there's no vision. Everything from trash to buildings that need repair and care. You need to find people who sit all day just outside of little buildings, just shooting the breeze, as I used to hear when I was a very young person. But it has not changed. There are many communities where there are people who are not up and about something every day. So now let's flip to the other side. Let's take a look at what happens when you have a vision. When you have a vision, Dr. Harris talks about that in one of the sections in this chapter, and I'll get to it. So stay with me. Dr. Harris, I want you to do something for me. I want you to keep time for me.
Yes.
And so at about 5 minutes to the end, you let me know. This chapter has about 20 pages. And at first, I was open to simply focusing on the first 10 pages. And I realized that I would do you a disservice. So I'm going to get through this information quickly, and I want you to stay with me. In the universal law of vision, there are two aspects. He calls them specificity and imagination. Specificity is being detailed and specific and very clear about what it is that you are called to do. I have come to believe that when I close my eyes in the darkness, it is possible to connect with universal consciousness. And when I connect with universal consciousness, I am able to receive guidance regarding what to do with my time, what to do with my life, what to do with the resources that I have been entrusted with. You probably have found that to be true for your life as well. He talks about that in this section regarding imagination. But my sense is that until you have been given clarity around what to do, and it often happens with meditation, you won't have a good sense of what to write. However, with specificity, there are 3 goals. And Dr. Harris describes these as an immediate goal, an intermediate goal, and a long-term goal. The immediate goals are things that you will be able to see and do normally within one 90-day period. We're talking about some things that can happen in 30 days, some things that can happen in 60 days, some things that can happen in 90 days. They happen fairly quickly. Intermediate goals are those that normally happen in less than 3 years. And these times are arbitrary because the divine can do anything with your life. So don't lock yourself into these times. Know that it is possible once you are given a vision regarding what to do with your life, that the divine can work very quickly to bring resources, to bring people, to almost provide a time warp to get you through what it is you need to do. I'll give you an example. For many years, I taught at the doctoral level, helping people complete dissertation research. And one day I was shown a process that could be used to help people finish much faster. Often it would take people 3, 4, 5 years to get the research finished. I had a lady in Georgia who did it in 4 months. So when we talk about these times, know that the divine can show you things that will radically alter the frame of reference that you have had. Dr. Harris often speaks about the man who broke the 1 minute mile, and he did it in 4 minutes. Can you imagine running that far and that fast? Well, in similar ways, the divine will show you things that you will be able to do much quicker. Then there's the long range goals, and the long range goals can take as long as 10 years, but there are times when they can happen much faster. And to the extent that you're open to the opportunities and possibilities and the contacts and the resources that will be shown to you when you're quiet enough to be able to hear, it is remarkable what you will be shown. Now, the first step, he says, is once you have clarity, is to write that vision down, to get it into a format where you won't forget. So many things that we are shown, like dreams, we'll have an amazing dream at night and you'll wake up the next day and you can't remember all of the details. I always encourage people, keep a little notebook next to you so that when you are shown something, especially something that seems extraordinary, write it down. Just like you can't remember probably what you had for breakfast yesterday morning, the same thing will be true for the elements associated with the visions that you are given. When you're given visions, Dr. Harris talks about there being 6 qualities associated with setting goals in order to achieve those visions. Those 6 steps are, once again, get it written down. Number 2, review it so that you'll have a sense of whether or not it's realistic or attainable. Number 3, be flexible as you reflect on what you'll need to change in order to achieve that vision. Number 4, assess the degree to which it is concrete and measurable. Number 5, know that just like it happens along a time schedule, that there will be a period in which you will get it done. And sometimes you will be competing with other things. So you'll have to pray for the wisdom to know what to do first. There's a book titled One Thing, and the focus is to do that one thing until it's done and then move to something else. I believe that multitasking creates the perfect environment to get almost nothing done. That everything is done in sequence. It's like a computer. Even though a computer is working very quickly, on the surface, it is doing one task at a time. And the last thing is it should be set in advance. Set in advance of what? The goal is a destination. So to make it a priority, to make it such that you will have steps that will move you towards its attainment. Now, there are categories of goals which he has specified. And he says that there are 2 categories. There is the category called continuity and the category called opposition. Category for continuity is a category that says that I will continue along the path that I am already on, and I will do everything that I can to make sure that I achieve those things that are important in order to make this vision a reality, to manifest it. Alternatively, there is the category of opposition. There are things that we will be shown that will be diametrically different or slightly different from the path that we are currently on for continuity. Now, this change sometimes will seem almost illogical to go from heading north to heading south in order to achieve a goal. But I encourage you, if you have been open to having the voice of the divine lead and guide you, pay attention to the change. The change may be exactly what's needed in order to create the best outcome for you and those who you are associated with in relationships, be they your family or professional relationships. Be really open to saying yes once you understand and know the voice of the divine, that universal consciousness for your life. The next thing is purpose. Purpose, according to Dr. Harris, is what you want your life to represent. Now, know that purpose does not have to extend for the entirety of your life. Purpose can change. I think about Dr. Martin Luther King, who started out wanting to be a pastor. He went to seminary, Boston University, completed a PhD, and then found a church where he and his wife could go and be shepherds of a flock, using divine guidance to assist and to guide. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Here was young pastor working in this church, and people in that community who had decided, like Miss Rosa Parks, that they would no longer accept discrimination, segregation, and persecution on buses in Montgomery. Dr. King was at a mass meeting and was selected to be the person who would be the spokesperson for the Montgomery Improvement Association. Don't you know, within less than a year, Dr. King had departed from the church and was full time working to help the people in Montgomery achieve the outcomes that resulted in the end of discrimination in Montgomery. And then he found that he was traveling so much to help people in other communities that he could no longer be a pastor. It was as though the purpose for his life had been so radically changed that what he was called to do was much bigger, much greater service than what he would have been able to provide had he stayed as the pastor for Dexter Avenue. So know that what you start with may not necessarily be what you end with. But when you develop purpose, Dr. Harris says in the book, ask yourself the following questions. Am I the person I really want to be? Am I living a meaningful life? What am I doing to realize a meaningful life? What am I doing to make my dreams and visions come true? What important contribution do I have to make in the world? What do I want my life to stand for? There are many of us, they say, if you will, oh, it's something, in fact, I just heard about this last night. If you don't have a belief in something, you will fall or stand for anything. Somebody out there probably knows that quote precisely. So you know what I'm talking about. If you have not decided what you are willing to take a stand for and believe in, something that's fine and noble, then you'll fall for anything. And as you know, there's so many people in our country right now who have chosen that path. And unfortunately, it is often a destructive path. I'll give you an example. We have so many people who are lying and lying to us about so much right now. Many people struggle with understanding what is the truth. We have people who lie, steal, and cheat about things that often are of no count. So when we encounter something that's really important, the lies, the stealing, the cheating seem to wrap us up so that we are willing to follow people who embrace those kinds of practices. But I will tell you, be on your guard. Do not support the lying, stealing, and cheating. Make it a point to ask yourself often, is this something that if I woke up tomorrow and my name was on the front page of a paper, would it be something that would be uplifting for me, my family, and community? Or is it something that I would be really ashamed regarding? And right now, most of us read the newspaper and we see many things that are just shameful. In fact, the CEO for Walmart shared just recently, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago, that there was so much theft in many of the Walmart stores that they were going to start closing stores. Can you imagine that we don't have leadership willing to talk about the importance of honesty? Honesty in the workplace, honesty in the marketplace, honesty in our families, honesty in community. I encourage you to allow your purpose to be one that shines light on a life that is filled with Not just purpose for you and honesty for you, but a model for those around you. Now, Dr. Harris also refers in 12 Universal Laws about the basic rhythms of life. He specifically calls out peace and health and beauty and happiness and creative action and abundance. If you only focused on one of those things, I promise it would change the tangent of your life. To each day rise wanting to support getting healthier. So many people have died of all kinds of things in the last 2 years, not just COVID. I've got relatives who've died of diabetes, heart disease, all kinds of things with the health. So imagine getting in rhythm with what it would take to have good health. Imagine addressing things in your home that would help you clean up, get rid of, throw out, even if it was just buying a bouquet of flowers to add beauty. Get in the rhythm of life. When you read that page, you'll get lots of tips. He points out 7 guidelines for purpose to be idealistic. What does it mean to be idealistic? To be idealistic is to strive for the highest and the best in all things. So many of us have gotten to a place where we just settle for and accept. Imagine in your relationships. Imagine in your transportation. Imagine in your work to strive to be the very best. Elon Musk was talking about laying off a bunch of people. And it occurred to me, and I used to teach this years ago, that the organizations with people that will need to downsize will always keep that person who shows up every day and works like he owns the place. It's to care for the product, to care for the service, to care for the customer, to show up every day with an attitude that is so positive and radiant. People ask for you when they come. I go to a branch of a bank where there's a lady who knows everything. And if I have a question, she's so quick to want to help. She's so quick to be able to do it so fast. Or she can always tell me how to do something really fast. Imagine being the kind of person where people stand in line to wait for you because you are that good. Ah, talk about idealism and idealistic. Be the idea, the picture perfect version of whatever it is you're called to do. The second is to be visionary, to look out and ask, what can I learn to do better and be better today? How can I help somebody? Next, to make that a lifelong philosophy, to not just decide to do it every day and then you get tired because somebody harasses you or disrespects you, but to just decide it doesn't matter what happens, bring it on. I will do my best, share my best, be my best, know my best every day. Number 4 is to make it so that you benefit everybody. Don't just want to help one little group of people because they look like you or sound like you. Make it a point to show up as your best, regardless of who shows up, who comes in the door. Know that it will be challenging, that you'll have things to overcome, but just decide you are in it to win it. I used to date a man who used to tell me, oh, I'm not sure what you're going to do in this relationship, but let me tell you what I'm going to do. I am in it to win it. And he behaved just that way. When we would go out, he was just the most courteous man. Now, there were other things that weren't necessarily right, so he's not with me, but he was doing the best that he could every day. And then the last, it must set you on fire. It must be something that just warms your heart and makes you want to continue. It must be worthwhile. If it's not worthwhile, why do it? Time is so precious. You have just one life. So don't waste a minute. Now let's talk about this imagination part because this, I believe, is so important. I've touched little bit, and I told you it was coming. This is the second half of this part called vision. We started out with specificity, now imagination. Imagination is the opening in your spirit that when you are quiet in the darkness, the divine will show you all kinds of things. And I've already told you, write it down. There are things that you will be shown that will take you from, oh, a $10 job to a six-figure income. Do you hear me? And many times we think that it will take weeks and months to have the money in the bank. The spirit will show you things. If you don't remember anything else that I'm saying today, remember that if you will get quiet and ask the question, how can I do better? Where would you have me be? Who would you have me help? What time do I need to show up? How might I show up? What do I need to wear? The divine will show you. You will get answers. And when you get answers, you will probably be amazed at some of the things that will keep you on the same path. But more often than not, they will change your course. And I'm a witness. I have seen the change in the bank go from 2 digits to 6 figures by listening to the divine and cooperating with the guidance. Now, he says there are a number of ways to develop and practice your creativity. One is to stimulate your mind with reading. Two is to practice the imagination skills, like I just said with those questions. Three is to have goals, something that you want to achieve, somewhere where you want to go. I used to dream of going around the world. I want you to know I've been almost around the world. When I travel over a little country called Myanmar, where they have had all of that trouble with the political system and the leader has been on house arrest, I don't want to go there. But I tell you what, when I fly over that place, I will have been around the world. And it was simply inviting the divine to show me how to do it. So set a big goal. Don't set mediocre stuff. Know that the vision that you will be given will walk you into a place you never imagined and hopefully have you serve in ways that will bless you and bless others. Number 4 is develop your powers of concentration. When you can concentrate on focus, often it's amazing how the very information that you need to solve problems and get answers and change things and make a difference will come. The next is to manage your emotions. When I hear and read about people with road rage, I want to say, slow down, take a breath. All these people who are killing people every other week, it's like, slow down. Now, there are 3 steps to increase your creativity, according to Dr. Harris. Believe it can be done. Get rid of the word it's impossible. In fact, just chop off the first 2 letters and you'll have it's possible. And then always be receptive to new ideas. When the vision and the divine shows you new things in vision, be open. I always encourage clients, once you've determined that it is information that you've received from the divine, say yes and get up and get moving. It is not enough to be something. It is not enough to know something. I'll give you an example. If you're going to be a star quarterback, you had better be doing something. I think about Mahomes. Here he is, this young 27-year-old, as a quarterback for one of the best NFL teams in the country. I think about, oh, what's that guy who used to be the quarterback for the Eagles? Tom Brady. Tom Brady is still doing something. You hear me? Once he learned how to be a good quarterback, he has faithfully trained and faithfully showed up. He's one of the oldest quarterbacks in the league. So I will tell you, once you are shown what it is you need to be and what it is you need to know, get up and get doing. I think about Miss Rosa Parks. I just saw a movie about her life, The Rebellious Life of Rosa Parks. This is the 67th year since she sat on that bus and just said, no, I'm not moving today. I know that discrimination is wrong. I know that the persecution and the horrible things that have been done to people of color is wrong, and I'm not moving. At one point, she simply said, if you want to, you can kill me. But you see what happened? Much of what we enjoy today as opportunities to live with justice as the result of the decision that she courageously made. In fact, when she was in her last years, a young man broke into her house, gonna beat her and rob her. She was still willing to fight back. So I tell you, get up and stay moving. Now, there are 4 ways to develop creativity. Realize your creative genius, realize that you can be inspired through your sixth sense. And that's what I'm talking about with this meditation. Go into darkness, invite the spirit to respond to your questions about what and how and where and when and so forth. In the last 20 minutes, I have walked you through the 20 pages of this chapter. I could go through and try to summarize all of this, but I'm going to invite you to pull out this book. Pull out this book and go through the vision. Look carefully at the sections that address what vision is, what the goals are and the 3 types of goals, the 6 qualities associated with the goals, the categories of the goals, the continuity and the opposition where you change, how to develop your purpose, being in the rhythm of life, get into beauty, decide you're going to work on your health, do something to be happy. By the way, nobody else can make you happy. It's an inside job. Get up and get working on your own happiness. And then the 7 guidelines for purpose, what to do about imagination, how to develop creative imagination. And then when you've done all that you know how to do, take that vision and persist. Now, it might be that you won't finish your dissertation for your PhD in 4 months. It might be that you won't realize 6 figures in your bank account in 4 months. It might be that you will not publish book, have podcasts, have put out 250 segments of the Millionaire Mentorship Call. It won't happen overnight. It may not happen in a year. It may not happen in 4 years, but I tell you, if you will persist, you will realize the vision that has been placed in your heart. The divine is faithful. And out of that faithfulness is the manifestation of what you have been shown. Thank you, Dr. Harris. It's been a great day. Those out in the internet who have been listening, it is my hope that what you will take away will bless you and be a blessing. It will bless you so that you can be a blessing for others. Go forth and make a difference in the world.
Dr. Braye, let me just share this. You have made and you have said, as you walk through the book, I'm just, many times I don't remember writing passages, but as you walk through it, I think every writer always wants to feel that people get it, that there's something that they're able to take whatever they've written and enjoy it and interpret it and act on it. And I certainly thank you so much for really your sharing. I think that sharing was super powerful and was really a tribute to your own diligence and your own understanding. When a person who's been so many places and done so many things, and you are my favorite world traveler, it is always a joy to see that the principles that we put there, you can take and internalize and work on them. So I thank you so much, Doc. And, as I look at your life as a military person, as an educator, as a traveler, is there any thought that you'd like to share? We're at the point you were talking about the outside world and how so much negativity, so much is going on outside. And as people go forward, that they're, it's almost like that imagination provides a blueprint. But if you have not really developed your imagination, the blueprint may be hazy or cloudy. Is there any thought you'd like to share that can help people close out this year strong? What was it? Booker T. Washington said, drop your bucket where you are and get busy. Any final thoughts to help people drop their bucket where they are to move to where they want to be?
Dr. Harris, thank you for that question. I will tell you what has helped me. When I was very young, my mother made sure I had two things: a library card and a YMCA card. YMCA card was to ensure that when I went swimming, I wouldn't drown. The library card was to make sure that for the rest of my life, I would always be able to get answers and understand how to solve problems and how to stay positive in life. When I think about people who commit suicide because they can't figure it out, you often talk about this business of solving the riddle of life. Closing out a year means you take a breath, one breath, because that's all you have. Tomorrow is not promised. Do you hear me? That with that one breath, what is the most important positive thing that I can do right now? What am I being shown right now? I am, have come to believe that if I will take care of right now, whether it's to make a meal, clean a house, eat less that's on my plate, call and care for somebody, make a dish, have a conversation with my grandchildren, that we will close out the year great. I'll tell you something that came to me. I was standing at a gala. Actually, it was a premiere of the film about Miss Rosa Parks' life in Montgomery, Alabama, the rebellious life of Rosa Parks. I encourage all of the listeners to go find this film. It will change your life. It will. I had never heard Miss Parks' voice that I could remember. But when I heard this lady speak, I realized that all of her life she had been standing up with such courage and insight and foresight and inspiration. The reason that I share go find this film is in the film, I realized that you grow old one breath at a time, one day at a time. Make that minute count for something that's worthwhile. Now, back to the premiere, I'm standing talk to the wife of a commissioner about Christmas. She has one son and one grandson. And I said, well, what are you going to do to make it special? And she said, they just come over. I said, you know what? My mom died, and none of us ever learned some of the best things that she knew how to do. She knew how to make great biscuits. My grandmother knew how to make great macaroni and cheese, knew how, an aunt who knew how to make great dressing. And we didn't learn it. I said, just imagine if you spent an evening with your son or your grandson, teaching them something of your holiday tradition that long after you're gone, they will remember. Something that's noble and fine and just so special. She said, I make the best dressing. It takes 2 days to do it. And I'm going to invite my son and my grandson to come so that we can do it together. And she was just laughing, just thinking of the possibility. So, for those of you who are out there, the fathers, the mothers, the cousins, the neighbors, find something that you can do with somebody that's part of a holiday tradition that's beautiful and healthy and uplifting and inspiring, and get them involved in creating a tradition that will help make our communities better.
Wow. Dr. Braye, thank you so much. Those of you on Instagram, I know this was a little different for you today, and I hope that you got a chance to hear all that Dr. Braye said. Those of you on Facebook, I know that you had the opportunity to see and hear her words of wisdom. And we have our group on the Zoom that we're going to have a very beautiful discussion. So I just want to thank you. And those who are watching, I want to say this, that take the words that you have heard today, the meditation in your heart, the vibration that you've gotten from this message, and move it around in your consciousness so that it grows like a seed to create this magnificent sequoia tree that becomes your life. Starting this moment right now, do the things necessary to be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire. If you need the tools, and we all need tools, the tools to take you there, the book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success that Dr. Braye just so magnificently shared, in a beautiful context. The home study course, the New You for the New Year home study course, a step-by-step, and it's the only one of its nature, a step-by-step audio program with workbook. Take it and work it on your time to create the person that you want to be. some of the other goodies like the audio book, the 6 hours of recorded information that can transform your life while you're sleeping, while you're driving. So go to our website, www.herbertharris.info. Check out the perfect gift for the book. Check out the New You for the New Year home study course, and even check out the Ultimate Success Bundle that has everything we have to offer in one place. Once again, www.herbertharris.info. Thanks so much for being with us. Those of you on Instagram, thank you. Those of you on Facebook, share this message with at least 5 other people. And so it is.